Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is a Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics for the week, and it's a pretty cool list. I was I was shocked actually. These were all eBay sales, and they were big. They had massive sales all this week, and we'll get right into it. First one, number 10 on the list, is Blue Beetle number 48. It's from Fox, 1949. It's a Jack Kamen cover, and it's a brilliant one. It's got like girl in the orange dress, no red dress, but orange dress. It's close enough. Definitely a headlight cover. Definitely good girl art. But one thing I always have to wonder, I don't know why they always do this, but why does the hero always jump through the window? Why did they do that? It's just a thing. I noticed they always do that. They always jump through the window. They never learned how to use a door. I don't get it. But you know, the hero's jumping through the window. Okay, but this was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for, I believe, $1,475, which is a strong sale for this book. The previous record was set back in 2023 for a $999. So this is a strong sale. I'm not sure if it was $1,475 though, because it was a best offer, but it doesn't look like they gave a best offer, so I'm not sure. I don't know what the price was, but it looks like $1,475. There are only 29 of these on the census, and 22 of them are universal blue labels. Number 8 on the list is Lady Luck number 86 from 1949, Quality Comics, and it's a Gil Fox cover. This is actually the first issue of the Lady Luck series, even though it says 86. Before it was called Smash Comics, and she appeared originally in Smash, and she kind of took over the title and made it her own. So it became Lady Luck in issue number 86. This was an 8.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,500. Now, this is the third highest one on the census because it is an 8.5. It's the only sale in this grade. But this is a really strong sale because if you look at the 7.5, it sold for $840 back in February of 2023. So this is almost double for half a point higher, or for a full point higher. So it's a really strong sale. But even when you get to these higher grades, you do see that kind of jumping of the price. So I would say it's still a very strong sale for the grade. There are 30 of these on the census, and 30 of them are universal blue labels. Number 8 on the list is Marvel Mystery Comics number 3. This is from Timely 1940. It is Alex Schomburg cover, and it has so much going on. This is one of the more bizarre covers. It has skulls on it. It has this woman being held by like a statue. I'm not even sure if she's wearing any clothes. It doesn't look like she's wearing any clothes. Very odd. And there's this kind of gimp-like guy with a hatchet. Like he's got, like his legs are chopped. It's really weird. And it's, it's got the angel as the hero on the cover. But this is actually a couple kind of historical cool things about it as well. It's the first time that they have the new logo for Marvel, and it's also one of the early times where you see a television in a comic story. So this is pretty early. I mean, it's 1940. Television was actually a very new invention at that time, and to see a television in a story is kind of a little bit of interesting things there. So this was a really cool book. This was a 0.5 restored copy, and it was C1 restoration. It has color touch, and the right edge was trimmed, and it sold for $2,424. Now this is a big record because the previous blue label 0.5 sold back in May of 2018 for $886. So this is 3 times what the blue label 0.5 sold for. But at a 0.5, does restoration really matter? Because it's incomplete anyways. But yeah, so just I thought that was weird, but definitely a strong sale. Now, just to give you a sense of maybe why this book sold for so much, a 2.5 recently had a sale back in November of 2023, so just a end of last year, for $24,000. So just gives you a sense of how valuable this book is. This book is a ghost. It does not come up for auction very often, and when people do see it, they want it because it is an early Marvel comic. There's only 41 of these on the census, and only 20 of those 41 are Universal Blue Labels. So rare to find it in that blue label. Number 7 on the list is Superman number 34. This is from DC Comics 1945. It's a Jack Burnley cover. Jack Burnley did a lot of the early Superman covers. This is a kind of an interesting one because it's the Red Cross, and it's promoting donating blood. It's a very interesting cover. This was a 6.0 that sold, and it sold for a best offer. Originally, it was listed at $1,200, but the best offer that they took was $864. Now, this is an interesting one because this is one where you can see that if you're one of those lucky people that gets like the steal of the week, sometimes you can flip those steals of the week and get a pretty good return on your investment. Now, this was not a major record. The previous record was set back in January of 2023 for $855. So you're thinking, what? Well, this guy didn't really make that much money on flipping it. It's only like $9 from that previous record. So it's up $9. Woohoo. Not that big. But this wasn't that book. This was a different copy. This book actually sold back in June of this year for $545. So the guy basically bought this book in June and sold it in August for almost like $320 more. So he made a pretty good return on investment within a short time. So kind of a cool, you get a steal. That June sale was a steal, and they basically flipped it for a good price. So yes, there's 171 of these on the census, and 158 of them are blue labels. Number 6 on the list is Young Allies number 4. This is from Timely 1942. Is a George Klein cover, and it's just a classic Red Skull cover. You get this crazy Red Skull laughing, and he's just like pulling a lever, and you see the young allies, and they're attached to a bomb, and they're falling through the ceiling, and then you see other members like in bondage and as well. It's just like so much going on this cover. Got the human not a Toro coming through one of the walls. You got Bucky with a machine gun. This crazy stuff going on this cover. Really awesome book. Now, in the previous number 7, I was mentioning how you can flip and sometimes get a really nice return on investment when you buy low. Well, this one was a 5.0, and it sold for $3,250. Now, this is one of those ones where I think the person thought that they got a steal, but didn't quite get it. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in November of 2022 for $4,080. Now, this same book made its last sale, though, in January of 2024 for $3,999. So probably they thought, oh, wow, I just got a steal because it sold for less than what it did in 2022. I can probably flip it and get some bigger price. Didn't work. It didn't work. They actually lost on this one, and they got $3,200 instead of the $3,900. So sometimes steals don't always work. It's just good luck, bad luck thing. So this is the flip side of how steals can sometimes not work in your advantage. There's 76 of these on the census, and 58 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is Batman number 2. This is from DC Comics 1940. It is the second appearance of the Joker, and it's kind of a quirky cover because it's got the silly situation where you got Batman pushing a villain, and then Robin's underneath or behind him kneeling, and the criminal falls over Robin. Very hokey cover, but it's a cute cover as well. But this is also the first time that Catwoman is referred to as Catwoman. In the original Batman number 1, they refer to her as the Cat. This one, they refer to her as Catwoman, but you never see her as either Cat or Catwoman. It's only in number 3 that she actually makes a full appearance as Catwoman, where you see what she actually looks like in her costume. So just an interesting piece of Catwoman history, this one, because it does mention her by full name. Okay, this was a 0.5 that sold, and it sold for $4,275. Now that's a pretty big sale because the previous record for this book was set back in May of 2024 for $2,950. So it's up like $1,300 in just a few months. So a big sale for this one, new record. There's 253 of these on the census, and 152 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is All-Star Comics number 4 from DC Comics 1941. It's actually all American comics, but they became DC Comics later on. They joined with national periodicals to become DC Comics. This cover was done by E.E. Hibbard, and it's the first time you see the JSA working together as a team, and it's their first adventure. Now, in All-Star Comics number 3, they basically are sitting at a table and becoming the JSA, but this is the first time you get the Justice Society of America going out and actually fighting crime. So pretty cool book. This was a 6.0 with white pages that sold, and it sold for $4,000. This is a new record as well. The previous record was set back in June of 2024 for $3,077. So just a nice big sale for this book. Really great. Hard to get book, actually. Even though there's 129 of these on the census and 96 of them are Universal Blue Labels, still one that, you see it fairly regularly, but it's hard to get in these high grades. Like, really, you just don't see it that often in the high grades. Number 3 on the list is Crime Patrol number 16. This is from EC Comics 1950. It is a Johnny Craig cover. And it's the second appearance of the Crypt Keeper. And it's actually the last issue in the title. So Crime Patrol number 15 introduces the Crypt Keeper. And this one, they realized that they were on kind of a roll when they did that. They went from being a crime book, and then they realized, hey, this is kind of working. So even on this book, they mentioned from stories from Crypt of Terror. And in the next issue, the title changes to Crypt of Terror number 17. So it basically changes titles because EC Comics, they realize, hey, horror, pre-code horror, this is the way to go. So this book really is the precursor for Crypt of Terror number 17. And it's the precursor for pre-code horror. So kind of a major book. This was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $4,500. The previous record for this book, just to give you, this was a massive sale, massive sale. The previous record for this book was set back in 2019 for $687. So just massive, blew away that previous sale, almost 8 times previous sale, just a massive sale. Just to give you a sense of how big of a sale this was, a 6.0, which is double the grade, sold for $5,040 this month So this is a really strong sale for this book. Just crazy price on it. There are 53 of these on the census, and 50 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list. Oh, by the way, that's actually quite rare for EC comics. Usually EC comics, when you see them on the census, it's usually like a few hundred. So 53 copies, actually very low census count, just a little extra. Number 2 on the list is Superman 26. This is from DC Comics, 1944. It's a Jack Burnley cover again. And this is a classic cover. You got Superman holding Goebbels on one hand and the Liberty Bell on the other. Now, Goebbels was the Nazi propaganda minister. So this is kind of that juxtapose. I mess up the way to pronounce that. Of, tyranny versus freedom. So it's a very cool cover. This was 8.0 that sold, so really high grade for this book, and it sold for $4,812. The previous record for this book was actually not much less. The previous record was $4,800, so it went up $12. Not a big sale, but still, it confirms that price. The previous sale was in January of 2023. So it just kind of confirms the price at that new ceiling. There are 213 of these on the census, and 190 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list is Venus 19. This is from Atlas Comics, 1952. And this is an interesting issue because it's a classic, one of the most famous pre-code horror covers of all time. I would say it's in the top 5 of all the pre-code horror covers. It's basically a Me Too. This girl's gone on a date, and it's a bad date because it's a bad date when your boyfriend's face falls off, and that's what's happening. His face is getting basically ripped off. Just a really gruesome, cool cover. So this was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $8,400. Just a massive sale for this book. The previous record for this book was set back in 2021 for $4,500. Now, this book has been on a bit of a tear lately, no pun intended. It's been just climbing up because it is a very desirable cover. Just a classic cover. And it's a very interesting title because Venus originally started out as a good girl book, kind of became superhero-ish later, and then became pre-code horror. So it just went through all this transition. Very interesting book, and just an amazing sale for it. Just almost double what it had sold for previously. There are 71 of these on the census, and 67 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So what did you think of the list? Did you buy any of these books? I mean, these are amazing books. Any one of them? Awesome. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.